Hello guys and welcome to Big Data Brain. And in today's video, we will be building a data lakehouse architecture on AWS. And this data lakehouse will have a triple query engine setup, rollback capabilities, schema evolution as well as AWS IAM roles and policies that are required to set up these environments for data engineers and people within the organization. If you are just getting started with data lakehouses, and want a simple and no BS example, this is the video that you should watch. Without wasting any time, let's jump right into it. Here on the screen, we have the GitHub repo called AWS Data Lakehouse. This repo, you can fork the repo or clone it onto your PC locally. The repo contains all the scripts, files and things that we need in order to run this lakehouse correctly. As a bonus, we have two extra query engines such as Trino and Spark. Athena will be our go-to, but Spark and Trino, I merely added just to show you that you can query the data in multiple ways without any vendor lock-ins. Okay, next let us open the repo and look at the files that we will use. But first, let me quickly take a few seconds to explain this workflow diagram. As you guys can see, we have a diagram in front of us, and this diagram contains all kind of stuff. For each step of the pipeline, we have various kinds of AWS roles and policies assigned to the user. But let us say for this example, that you were hired as a high-level data engineer at a hedge fund. And your job is to collect tick data, as an ML engineer needs this data to build a mean reversion model for predictions and signal creation. How would you do this? The first step would be to contact the admin on the AWS console, and ask that they grant you a data engineer role with policies that will allow you to create an S3 bucket, Glue, Athena and a stream of tick data that you can capture and store. To capture the tick data, we would normally use AWS Kinesis, but unfortunately it is not usable on the free tier. As a workaround, we will make our own mini Kinesis streamer using Python. Now let us look at the code snippet itself. On the left-hand side of the screen, we have a bunch of folders, scripts, JSON file, PDF file and a lot more. After cloning the repo, this is what your folder structure should look like. But before we begin, you will need to create two env files. You can check the env placeholder files, that will tell you what variables need to be created, and where you should put these two files. For privacy reasons, I did not put the env files in the repo, even if they would be empty. It's only a matter of time before one day you make a mistake and commit your AWS keys to GitHub, then that would be the day your secret keys become public keys. I am kidding, that's why we have the git ignore file, to ensure that sensitive stuff are not committed to the repo by accident. For the rest of the files, just ensure you have the path to the env files specified correctly. One env file stays in the main directory and the other one is created in the query engine setup folder. The latter is for our local Spark and Trino setup via Docker. We do this to avoid having one massive env file, as some of these variables are very closely related but not the same. This is done to avoid confusion and mix-ups. Do not worry, we will go over all of this again when we get to that step. I tried to make this setup as beginner-friendly as possible, so anybody could follow along. Before we proceed, please hit that like and subscribe button. It would really help me out a lot and keep me motivated to keep making these videos. Okay, enough with all that, now let us head over to part 2. In part 2, we will head over to AWS and view the policies that we have set for the admin role.